Team Spirit, Korea, 1983. At the time, I was stationed with the 2nd Infantry Division at a little camp called Camp Pelham. It was up on the demilitarized zone, and I was with the 2nd Infantry Division, and we were a bridge company. We put in a pontoon bridge, and our main mission there was to put in to either put in a bridge or put in a raft to ferry or bridge across the infantry elements that were on the north side of the River, right up on the DMZ. And I'll put a picture in of the bridge that we put in on the River. Well, in March of 1983, the war games known as Team Spirit kicked off, and it involved over 190,000 Korean and American forces, and they were from the Navy 7th Fleet, the Air Force Strategic Command. They were bringing over the 7th Infantry Division from California and the 25th Infantry Division from Hawaii, and it was basically a month and a half long war game, and it was held in the area south of Seoul, Korea, and away from the demilitarized zone, so you wouldn't get North Korea worked up. But they were already worked up, as they usually are, and even in this instance, we had a defector fly his MiG from North Korea about a month or two beforehand, and he claimed that North Korea was all in a frenzy, that we were having these war games, and that it was gonna incite them to attack us. And but it spoiler alert, it never did. They never did. Yeah, so we got all ready to go down, and loaded up all our gear in our trucks, and I'll put a picture in right now of me in my truck with my shotgun as we were getting ready to leave the motor pool at Camp Pelham. And then we headed south. Like I said, we were going to be operating south of Seoul, and so we headed on down. And unfortunately, not far after we left Camp Pelham, there we had a fatality. One of our bridge trucks struck a pedestrian and killed him. And I'll put a picture in here, and you can see, the big bay on our truck that's the bridge bay. And this was we didn't leave the Camp Pelham in our bridge site area around the River that often. And to get these big bridge trucks and all these tanks and everything that was going on with Team Spirit was pretty rough on the infrastructure of Korea, because you can see in this picture it's a paved road, but most of the roads down there you'll see are and even the subsequent pictures, they're dirt. And South Korea was still developing at that time, so it was sad. But I'll put a picture in right now of that incident. And once we got everything cleared up there, we kept moving south, and our first campsite when we got down the area was a big, huge, sandy area, and so we were there for probably about a week, waiting for things to get going. And we were the blue forces, and you could see by the bands on our hats and the blue triangles on our trucks that we were the blue forces, and we were going against the orange forces. And so I'll put some pictures in here of us, pulling into the area, getting everything camouflaged. We slept in a big huge army tent called a GP medium, and that was camouflaged. And we had the train that we always carted around with us, which was basically a 2-hole wooden seat, and then we had some 55-gallon drums cut in half as where everything went into. and then before we left, we would burn that off. So I'll put a series of pictures of that. And of course, it was March, and you see at the picture at the end, it ended up snowing. So I'll throw some pictures in there. Then our second campsite was towards the Han River, and we pulled in there and camped there for a little while as we prepared to do some bridging operations on the Han River, and I'll throw some pictures into that. And then while we started doing some rafting operations on a tributary of the Han, just to kind of get ready for the bridging operations. Then in April, we got the word to put the full closure in over the bridge. Got to plug the Second Infantry Division, uh, and so we put in our full closure bridge and crossed elements of the Blue Force as they were going on the offensive against the Orange forces. And then once we got over, they put this big huge smoke screen over our bridge, and actually the picture of the crossing is actually us crossing back over our own bridge, and because some of us were going to follow the Blue Forces, and in case they needed another bridge put in, and then other elements of our company were going to stay back and pick the bridge, take the bridge out. But they put this big smoke screen over because they had some B-52s flying over from the Air Force that were going to, pretend to bomb our bridge. And I actually have a picture of one of the B-52s, and I just had a little disposable camera. This is 1982, so this I got a pretty good shot of that B-52. So I remember he wasn't that high. He made a lot of noise coming over us. So I'll put those pictures of that in right now. Then once we got over, we weren't too far from the bridge site, and I noticed we were kind of going at a slow crawl, and we must have been really, close to the front, or because all of a sudden this air assault uh, group came in. They were coming in on Hueys, and I started snapping pictures of them coming in. And about the time they were landing, I was like right on this bridge over this dry creek bed or riverbed where they were coming in and landing. And it kind of dawned on me afterwards that, man, those could have been the orange forces, and I was just kind of lackadaisical taking pictures of them. But it turns out that they were blue forces, and that they were at the wrong landing zone, the wrong LZ. So once they got that figured out, they loaded back up and headed towards the front lines ahead of us. And I'll throw some pictures into that. Then after that, we just basically noodled around and did some other little ventures that weren't bridge related, and uh, I actually detail those in my book Around the World, which is my memoirs, and it covers my 3 years in the Army and 22 years in the Coast Guard. And I just go, assignment by assignment, and just talk about things like this team spirit operation. And if you like to read it, you can get it at through my website www.edsemler.com, and it'll link you to Amazon where you can get it as a paperback or an ebook. Yeah, and so after that, we headed back up to Camp Pelham and did our, went back to our normal routine and training to put that bridge in across the Imjim River. And it was kind of interesting because probably about a week or two afterwards, we were at formation, and they came by and they gave us all this little this keychain. It's a Team Spirit 1983 presented by the President of Korea, and I'll put a picture of that in at the end here. And I just thought, wow, all that for a keychain, but it was definitely a memorable experience.